Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 288, recorded on March 26th, 2024. And on this episode, we're talking all about the latest Premium Edition Games Direct, as well as several other stories in the world of Nintendo. My name is Steve, and of course, I am joined by Barry. Barry, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks to be, always happy to be here.
Yeah. Also joined by Greg. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing good. Hope everyone else is doing good as well.
Yeah. And we have a guest again on this episode. So thanks for joining us, Tristan. How's it going, Tristan?
Thanks for having me.
So Tristan is also from Premium Edition Games, so he's going to join in the discussion about the latest Direct. But like I said, we got several other updates to games and a little information about Summer Game Fest as well that we're going to be jumping into just a little bit later in the episode. But before we jump into any of that, thank you guys so much for being here. If you've not followed us on social media, we just encourage you to do that. We are at NintendoFuse on most of the social media platforms out there. You can find the links to that in our show notes and the YouTube description, as well as our link to our Discord. So if you've never joined our Discord, we'd love to have you over there in our community. And you can find the link to that also in our show notes and our YouTube description. Speaking of YouTube, we are going live for this episode as we normally do. So every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We'd love to have you jump in the live chat and join the conversation. And also, you can find that video archive version on YouTube after the fact and all the audio versions on your favorite podcast app. And we'd love to have you subscribe over there as well. But as always, we're going to jump into what we have been playing. And before we do that, though, I want to give a chance to for Tristan to kind of introduce himself, let us know what you do over there at Premium Edition Games, and any other information that'd be helpful to our audience to just get to know you a little more.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a lifelong gamer. Let's see. Well, for Premium Edition Games, first and foremost, I'm a graphic designer and video editor. So if anyone caught the Direct last night, that was basically a collaboration between Barry's script and my video editing. It ended up being 53 minutes long, thanks, Barry, which I had to lock myself in my office for the last 4 days of last week in order to get it done before I went to my in-laws on the weekend. But we got it done. We got it there. So in addition to doing graphic design, let's see, I'm a 20-year Air Force veteran. So I retired from the Air Force. I was a defense contractor for a few years after that. And then, boy, life was just hitting me hard. So something had to give. And now I'm doing this graphic design thing full time. I'm going to be going back to school for that to get a degree in it. Cool. But I'm also a book author. So we all know Jeff Wittenhagen, who's one of the founders of Premium Edition. He's actually my publisher as well. So I published, I've got 2 editions of the Video Game Console Collector's Field Guide, which is a comprehensive and encyclopedic guide on anything video game consoles. Anything you can think of, anything you don't want to know about video game consoles is in there. And then the last 4 years of my life, I was working on and completed the Video Game Collector's Field Guide, which is 4 volumes, 2,400 pages of visual checklists, everything from the Fairchild Channel F to the generation, including the PlayStation 3, Wii U, and Xbox 360. Wow. So if you're a collector of any of those libraries in between, then there's a visual checklist in those volumes for you.
Nice. That's awesome. So where did it all begin for you with video games?
Oh my gosh. So I have to blame my grandma about that. As a kid growing up, I wasn't even tangentially aware of video games really. We didn't have an Atari, and my parents weren't gamers, whatsoever. But she always tried to spoil us and keep us in the latest technology. And just out of the blue, she bought us an NES, and it was fate ever since then. I remember that first night, like unboxing it and playing Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's funny because it's actually very similar to my story, and I
yeah.
recently realized this, and we talked about this a couple episodes ago, that I had this revelation this Christmas when I was talking to my family, and I didn't realize that the NES was not my first system that I ever played. Apparently we had a Commodore 64 that I'd completely forgot about, and I think an Odyssey as well. But it was all my grandma as well. She had to like stay on top of the latest stuff, and she was the one that got me hooked on video games as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in my book, there's actually a picture of me sitting down, and I have no idea how old I am. I'm probably like 2 years old or something, but a picture of me sitting in front of a Commodore VIC-20. So I guess that was my first experience. However, I have no knowledge no memory of that happening.
Yeah. Greg, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that's actually also mirrored my story too. Is my mom's mom got me and my brother the NES, but I didn't cheat like Steve and have an earlier system than that. It was actually the NES was actually the very first one I've had, and then they subsequently got me like eventually the Super Nintendo, and then me and my brother got the 64 and everything else like after that. So
nice, grandma's
like
man.
My grandma wanted to be on top of all the latest technologies, of the latest thing. This is going to be coolest thing ever. And but yeah, I got the Mario Brothers with Duck Hunt, and yep.
Yes.
That's so strange. Hey, if you're also listening or watching and your grandma got you into video games, let us know. That's crazy. The three out of the four of us got started because of our grandma. So Barry, did your grandma play any role in video games at all for you?
She played a lot of stuff on the computer.
Okay.
More simple puzzle games on the computer that I didn't really get into because of her. She definitely had a Tetris addiction for a time early on.
Nice.
Specifically Tetris 2, she really liked. And but again, it was all like the computer versions. And no, it was all my uncle and my father for me.
Nice. Yeah, my grandma never played. She just bought it and wanted us to play and enjoy it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Same.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us, Tristan. As we talk about what we've been playing, let's go to you first. And what's some games you've been playing lately?
The only thing that I've been playing outside of so I don't consider like what I actually play to be playing, because as for premium edition, one of the main things that I do is I write the manuals, which means that I have to play the games through, like, play the games, and it's work. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is what I've been playing for fun.
Nice.
And I just talked to Barry about this yesterday. I guess he's already beat the game, but I am nowhere near close. My wife is not a gamer whatsoever, but she loves watching games like that, watching me play games like that. So I have to. We have to be off at the same time and like have free time at the same time, and that just hasn't lined up lately. So I'm stuck in like chapter 4 or 5 or something like that.
Okay. Barry, how long is that game? I haven't checked.
It took me about 80 hours, but I did 100% of every map, which I know not a lot of people get to Gungaza and they like, nope, I'm done. And I was this close to doing it too.
My gosh.
But yeah. And now keep in mind that's not 80 hours of actual game time, because a lot of that time my baby was up or needed something and I needed to take care of him, and I just like left it on while I was taking care of him. It was probably closer to 70 hours.
Okay. So that's still a good chunk of game.
Still a chunk.
Yeah. Not as much as Xenoblade, but that's still a lot.
At least Xenoblade was complete games. This is just the middle chapter of a 3-part game.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Nice.
Barry does have magical powers to do all 70 hours in one day too. So
somehow, yeah.
I wish.
Greg, what have you been playing lately?
All right. So this will probably be the longest list I'll actually ever have on one of these things. So yeah, on the Switch, I was doing the Mystery Box series that we'll be doing a game chat on eventually. So there's like 4 entries in there. So I'll leave a lot of that to later. I did also pick up Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on Switch. I did play it on Wii U like 10 years ago, and then I had never beat it, but I've just been kind of interested to kind of replay it now, like 10 years later. So just kind of worked through the first world and collecting a bunch of the puzzle pieces and living at least the easier stages of the game because I know it's going to ramp up in difficulty very, very quick. And then I've actually been doing lots of gaming on my iPad lately, so it's still doing like Simpsons Tapped Out, but then the premiere here is the the Roblox application. So they recently they added an event called the Hunt First Edition, and it started on March 15th, and it's running through March 30th. And if you play 100 of these specific games, and you can get like badges, and then you can win like exclusive gear within like the Roblox community. So it's kind of just like a center for developers to put their games like on this app, and then it kind of all uses like similar like code base and assets and stuff that can be used and made into different games. So some of it can look more like Minecraft, and others can be more like fleshed out and like cleaner and everything like that too. So some of the games that I did play, I did get about 85 of the 100 badges at the time of this recording. So I only got about 10 more to go to get the final prize. You only have to do 95, not all 100. So some of the ones I did there was a game called Car Crushers 2, and then pretty much you have like a little car and you just have to destroy it in these different machines. So there's some machines where you could throw it down a flight of stairs, and then it just damages, it goes down, and it's kind of cool to watch the car just slowly destroy. And you can also put in like lasers and all sorts of other crazy kind of stuff there. Then another one was Dragon Adventures Fantasy Pet. So you pretty much get like a dragon, and then you can kind of train it and feed it, and then like take care of it and use it to fly and shoot fire and claws at monsters and stuff. It's actually was more engaging than I would thinking for a mobile style game. The main one, and probably even for most previous podcasts I play, is a game called Adopt Me. That's one my daughter really loves. It's pretty much like the classic Tamagotchi thing on steroids. Like you take care of pets and are like feeding them like food and water, and also like you can give it baths and also like have it put it to bed and all this sorts of other stuff. So, and it has a big aspect. You can trade the different pets because pretty much all of them are in these like gotcha egg things where you have like a whatever 1 in a million chance to get the one you actually want, and usually get all the junk. So yeah, there's that one. Another one that me and my daughter play a lot is 3008. You're pretty much in like this post-apocalyptic I guess like either like a Costco or IKEA type store where there's like tons of like pallets and furniture all around, and then pretty much the employees you spend the night at the store, and then the employees try to beat you up and kick you out of the store at nighttime. So pretty much you can use all the furniture to build like makeshift bases and stuff, and make like walls and ceilings and stuff to keep out all the employees from trying to hurt you and hunt you down. And then every like Monday and Wednesday within the game time, you get like there's food that you can use to replenish like your stats and stuff. So that's also kind of neat kind of twist there. So the daytime is usually like 6 minutes, and the nighttime is like 5 minutes. So like you do get some time to build and construct and to explore and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can still do it at night. It's just a lot lower visibility to be able to see. There are like light items that you can use to cast light, but the visibility is really low. Let's see. Another one was one of the more spookier games was a game called Doors, and essentially it's like a Resident Evil with roguelike stuff. So you go through like a little like maze thing, and then you're trying to dodge like enemy monsters and stuff, and they try to like also hunt you down and kill you. It's pretty much one shot killed, but you don't have any weapons to actually take them down. You're more like trying to dodge them or do like different techniques to avoid them and not necessarily fight them. So that was kind of interesting there because it's like a roguelike. So it's pretty much each time you play the map, it's like a different set. Another one was a Big Paintball 2, and that's almost kind of like a Splatoon like ripoff, just without coloring the ground. You're just actually targeting other players. So it's just a battle royale, just shooting paint at other players, and it's a one-shot kill. So it's one rogue bullet is pretty much a end for that particular life, and you just respawn back in and play some more. And after so many kills, you get special items like setting up like a sentry thing that also targets other players, or has a little drone that goes over your head, so it can kind of target enemies that might try to sneak up behind you, or other players. I mean, not enemies. So that's kind of weird there. The next game is probably why it's not on Nintendo platforms. So, at the time of this recording, Roblox is actually on Xbox and PlayStation. I saw in my research, but this game is called Project Smash. So, if you don't know what Smash is, you could probably guess why it wouldn't work getting past Nintendo servers. They actually pretty much remade like a three-dimensional like style Smash Brothers style game, and it even has like all the percentages and a few of the similar hitting sound effects from the 64 version. And like you like get hit, and then you kind of start flying further back, and you have to just knock them off the stage as normal. So it's kind of understandable why they might not get approved on Nintendo anytime soon. One of the silliest games was a game called Slap Battles. So you pretty much unlock these different hands where you can they're like giant mechanical hands you can slap around other players. And there's like different properties that they can do. Like there's like ones that are like infused with like magma, so then like you like burn them, like burn other players, or like freeze them and do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's just super silly, and it just counts the number of times that you hit other players, and you can knock them off the course, then immediately respawn, and it's just silly stuff right there. Another game that might be kind of targeted more at Nintendo, at least, is a game called Sonic Speed Simulator. So it actually uses Sonic and Tails and Eggman and stuff. I don't know if they have the license to do so, but you do kind of run around at incredibly high speeds, collecting actual rings that makes the ring sound effect, and also a number of like other like little diamond things. So that was kind of interesting there too. Only two other ones I was going to go through, so I'm almost done here. So another one was a tower defense game called Tower Toilet Defense. So pretty much like there's like these enemies sitting in like little toilets that like go along this little track, and then you have to set up little fighter guys to take down these giant sized toilets. So that was kind of silly. And then
the minds that create these things.
Yeah. It's like fever dreams.
Yep, and the very last one is called Steep Step. So it's almost like a Captain Toad-like game on its steroids. So you get like a ladder, and you're not allowed to jump or anything, and you have to go through a vertical course without the ability to jump. So you have to like set up a ladder, like kind of pull it up and take it up behind you, or like you have to like tilt it in certain directions. You can cross little gaps and stuff because you're unable to jump. So it's kind of very interesting, and also a very highly difficult game to master, and it does allow you to respawn the ladder if it like were to fall down below, but then you also kind of I think you also have to go back and start from the last checkpoint or whatever too. So if it does fall down, you have to kind of go chasing after it. But it is kind of interesting, a way to expand on like a Captain Toad style gameplay, because usually a lot of games involve jumping and running, and not so many of them just straight up trying to navigate spaces without the ability to jump.
Wow. I'm still so impressed. Maybe I need to download Roblox at some point to experience this. I had no idea like it's become its own like video game console essentially.
It's like an all-in-one shop, and certainly some of the maybe Barry and Tristan want to take some of these games physically and
there you go.
Put them on Nintendo's platform like Project Smash. Like, look at this, we published Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, copyright infringement, the game.
Yeah, basically. Wow. All right.
Nintendo, come sue me, the game.
Right?
Nintendo ruined my life, the game.
Barry, what have you been playing lately?
So I had an interesting 2 weeks. Still doing Pokemon Unite daily on the Switch. Speaking of Smash Brothers, I actually booted up Smash Brothers because they had the final spirits for Mario Wonder and Peach Showtime. So I booted it up to grab those spirits. Then a game called Llamasoft, the Jeff Minter story, which we'll be doing a game chat about later. But a really cool historical game. Definitely not what I expected, but a lot better than what I expected. Like Greg, I played the 4 mystery box games, which again we'll be talking about in a game chat. I played High Water, which is a 3D, almost like post-apocalyptic RPG, which we will be talking about as well in a game chat. I played a game called Tori 2. It's a 3D platformer. Didn't take long. Probably took me 30 minutes to finish, but I had a lot of fun. It's like 9 levels with a boss fight and collectibles, and plays well on the Switch. Played a game called Silver Falls Guardian S, which I didn't know what to expect. I thought this might be an RPG from the Silver Falls team, but it's actually like Tiger LCD games on the Switch,
Oh,
which
sick.
which play just like those Tiger LCD games. Not what I was
Oh my
expecting at
gosh.
all, but it was pretty interesting that
Hmm.
this is there running on the Switch. Played a game called Running Fable, which was almost like Sonic R from the Saturn, but it plays better. But you play as either a tortoise or a hare, and you're doing like there's like 15 opponents either online or local or versus the CPU, and you got to race to the end, and it's a cute little game. There's only like 6 levels to race through. Played a game called Lunchapalooza, which is kind of like Mario Party meets Power Stone, except your food items, like hamburgers and stuff fighting each other on different, and the arenas constantly move. Like you're in a kitchen, and they like or you're in a table, and the table gets like picked up because you have and moved to a new setting, and you have to dodge stuff. It's really weird.
Hmm.
Um, game called Time Master. Speaking of Captain Toad, this is like Captain Toad, but it's got time elements where you have to collect these crystals, and you can run to the crystal and then rewind time, and a ghost of you appears, so you can use that and try to like stand on the goal so that when you collect it, like it instantly works for the goal. And there's sometimes multiple crystals you have to collect, and you have to use multiple shadows. It's really interesting idea and cool game. A game that I played earlier, I think it was earlier this year, Splatoon 2. I meant to go back and do Splatoon 3. I never did, but so I finally did. I played through Splatoon 3, beat the story. It was much faster than Splatoon 2. I think Splatoon 2 story felt the longest, and it felt more challenging. Like there were levels that really like were starting to get to me, and Splatoon 3 I thought was going to be much longer because it's like this almost like these open hub areas, and I felt like the levels were pretty quick. You didn't have to do them all. I think I did all but two. Like there were some that was like you moving targets, and you had to like hit all the targets in time, or you died. It was just like really you're stuck using a sniper rifle. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing this one. But it was a cool story, cool ending. I didn't do online. I just did the single player and turned it off. Game that we'll be talking about a little more later, and we do also have a game chat coming. Gordian Quest, which is a phenomenal RPG. It's like Dungeons and Dragons meets Magic the Gathering with a lot of like skill trees and a lot of those random things like when like Shadows over Loathing did that too, where you get like random encounters and do you do A or B, and what you do affects different things. It's I think there's like 800 scenarios. It's really cool. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. I beat the first act. I got really hooked into it. A game that I did beat that I did not get as hooked as I thought I would, which is Princess Peach Showtime. I completed that game. I did not 100% that game. I almost did, but that game would be 100 times better if A, you can go back if you missed a collectible, and B, if you could skip cutscenes, because each level, while they take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, they're almost like 25 to 30% of each level is like cutscene where things are
Oof.
happening because it's a play, which is fine the first time you play through it, but when you have to, you miss the very last, sparkling gem thing at the very end. You have to do the whole stage again. You have to collect everything in one go, but you still have to do the whole thing. And like some of these are like 45 seconds to a minute, and like you're just sitting there and you're like bored out of your mind because you've seen it like the third time trying to go through this, and you can't skip it. You can skip the credits though. That's something they let you skip for whatever reason. They let you skip the credits, but they won't let you skip the other stuff. But yeah, so I did enjoy it. It is not my favorite game. It's not a bad game. I do recommend it. Just go into it knowing those things. And then last thing on the Switch on NSO, I did some Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color. I didn't get very far. I just don't think I was like in the right mindset, but I did boot it up. PS5, we mentioned earlier, I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It was definitely confusing at the end and did not end the way I thought it would. but it wasn't bad. I did have fun with the game, and I will play the final chapter on the PS6 or 7 or whenever it comes out. And then my biggest takeaway from Rebirth is two things. One is that like the game should be a little more. Should say the mini games. Like there's a lot of mini games that are forced upon you, and if you don't like them, that's too bad. They're everywhere. It's a common complaint. But my biggest complaint is this shouldn't have been Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This should have just been Final Fantasy 17. They should have just made it a new area, new characters, new everything, because it's a new game, and that would.
That's
have
what
been
I was
fine.
wondering. Like, so it's not just a remake of 7. This is a brand new game.
Yeah,
No,
it's brand new.
It's a remake of 7, but they took like the second disc and they added about 30 or 40 hours of added stuff, and all of it, I mean, some of it's just filler, some of it's extended sections, and other parts of it are brand new. So they're definitely like, without truly spoiling it, they're kind of taking the trope that everyone's been taking with multiverse kind of deal. And at the first game, the way it ended, I was really excited to see how they were going to follow it up. And truthfully, I was disappointed with the story because I wanted to see a different story told, and it would have been a lot better. My favorite 7 character is Zack, and like he's on the cover. I'm like, oh, we're going to see some really cool stuff with him, and you really don't. You get very small little snippets of Zack, and I'm like, that's misleading. I wanted to see more. Like I wanted to see them say we're starting this as a remake and now we're completely turning it on its head. And instead they didn't. They're like, no, it's still a remake, it's still this, but we're going to kind of introduce some new elements, but we're only going to introduce them. We're not really going to go further than that. And I wanted to see them go ham. The closest they did, which I guess this is maybe a spoiler, but they brought in an FF character from another game in this, but it's a character that's known to dimension hop. So if you play Final Fantasy, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So it's not really a surprise because he's in many, many games. And they came so close to calling out to his protagonist that he fought, but they didn't. They cheaped out. I'm like, come on, if you're gonna bring this character in, call out the name. But I digress. The other thing I'm playing on the PS5 is Dragon's Dogma 2. I started. And so far I'm liking it. I feel it's tougher than the first game. I feel it's not a hand-holdy game at all. It is brutal. There are times I've died just from accidental falls. Like my NPC partners, my pawns, like accidentally like hit me and knocked me off of the cliff, and I died. And I'm like, that sucked. But it is a good game. It is like the map leaves a lot to be desired. The fast travel system is hot garbage, and a lot of it is just wandering around aimlessly. Hope you go towards the marker, but it is a lot of fun. It kind of harkens back to older open world RPGs. And then finally on the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14. I had to buy my Dawn Trail Collector's Edition today with Square's broken borked site. That was fun. And on mobile, still doing Mario Kart Tour.
Nice. I tried to play Final Fantasy 14, as Barry knows, and yet again, Square's like, nope, don't want you to play unless you want to create separate accounts for all these things. And I'm like,
I'm telling you, just make a new account.
I don't want these stupid accounts.
Just make an account.
So annoying. Hopefully the new account will actually give me another free trial. If it doesn't, I'll be so upset.
Yeah, that should.
Yeah. Greg, I know you also did a special run in a game.
Yeah, I had forgot to mention during my update, I did the Legend of Zelda, the first one on NSO with swordless. So like I got that achievement crossed off.
Nice. I could probably do it, but I'd have to use the restore points all the time.
Well, I did have to use it at a few points, but I wasn't like trying to like completely like cheese it and break the game. But like,
yeah,
if it was like, oh, I didn't properly planned enough bombs, then I might have had to try to time it so then all the enemies were properly aligned. It wasn't like just like continue like resetting the room until I like just rewind every like 5 seconds. Like, oh, I can improve this faster or do this better. It was like I did like have to like leave dungeons and go get more bombs and everything like that. Like I didn't like necessarily like try to like force bomb drops when I like wasn't getting them.
Nice. I played Gordian Quest. I haven't played it as much as Barry, but did get quite a bit of time in with the game, and we'll be talking about it in a future game chat as well. So I'll save all that information until then. Also played more of Suika Game. It's a game that I played a little bit before Christmas, and with the multiplayer updates recently, I was like, let me try this out again. And if you're unfamiliar with the game, a lot of times it's called the watermelon game, but you're dropping fruit from the top. It's a simple puzzle game, kind of like Tetris, kind of like Match all these different kind of games, and it's incredibly addicting, and I got my wife addicted to it as well, and so she's playing it all the time. So there's also a mobile version, and so and anytime she's just sitting on the couch, I'm like, you're playing it again, aren't you? She's like, yes. Like, so addicting. But it's like $2.99 or something like that, so it was definitely well worth it. And still trying to get some of the I think they're all Japanese players from their names and the high score list and everything, but I don't know how they're getting the scores they're getting. They're so much higher than what I'm able to get, but apparently it's possible, or they're just cheating the whole system. So played that, and then I finally did play some more Life is Strange 2, completed chapter 4, so I've just got one chapter left of Life is Strange 2. And then I turned in my free trial for Xbox Game Pass for like I don't know, a couple weeks or whatever, and so ended up booting up a couple games that I'd not played yet, but I got them for free for a couple weeks. And so NBA 2K24, played that a little bit, and that was fun. And then also Hot Wheels Unleashed, hadn't played it on Xbox, and that game I am really enjoying it. It controls really well overall, except for drifting. Drifting is kind of like all over the place, but regular controls is really fun. Then did go back to CarX Highway Racing and played that a little bit. I know Barry's like shocked, but you guys were talking about it on the Nintendo Dads podcast, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and play that game. But one of the reasons why I went back and played it is because I picked up a new controller. Most of the time I play on the regular Nintendo Pro controller, but I got the 8-bit Do Ultimate Bluetooth controller, and it's fun because like a couple different things. It's a great quality controller. It's got a couple the programmable buttons on the back, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you don't have to use them at all. But one of the things that has is analog triggers. And I thought, let's try this out and actually see if I have a controller that has analog triggers, will the Nintendo Switch actually recognize them as analog triggers? And the answer is no, that it does not. But it's still a really good quality controller, and it's and you don't have to swap batteries out of it or whatever. It comes with like a little stand that you can put it in, so it's a nice little desktop stand that I can pop it in and get control over it. And it's got turbo and a couple other things that the regular Pro controller doesn't come with. So if you're looking for another Pro style controller, I highly recommend the Ultimate Bluetooth controller from 8-bit Do. The rest of the stuff that I've tried out, their stuff is really good quality, and so I wasn't surprised that this controller is really good. But yeah, after trying it for a week or so, it's definitely a highly recommended controller. And then, of course, played some more Rocket League and Clash Royale and Pokemon Go, and I finally was able to what's it called? Evolve my Magikarp, and I finally have a Gyarados. I was so excited this week. Because I put a Magikarp as my buddy just so I could get some extra candy, and I finally was able to evolve him this week. So I did leave a little screen recording of it because I was so excited. It's dumb, but it's fun.
It's the little things that matter.
That's right. That's right. Let us know what you guys have been playing. If you're listening to us, you can let us know over on social media or in our Discord. But if you're watching, we'd love to have you throw what you've been playing down in the comments. If you're watching after the fact, or if you're watching right now live with us, toss those in the live chat. But let's jump into some headlines right now. And we're going to start off with a little update about a game that we've been playing quite a bit. We did a whole game chat about it. There's already been one update to Snufkin Melody of Moominvalley, but we've got another update that just dropped yesterday with even more fixes. So it fixed an issue with the quest progress for playing with the band in Moomin Papa's Play Quest. Fixed an issue where Snufkin would get stuck on a broken log after trapping woodies. Fixed an issue where Little Mai would get stuck at the entrance of a cave. Another one where gazing spots got a black screen after playing for too long. Another one added a new Switch game icon, so I finally got that icon updated with the name. Updated the video compression settings, fixed a number of minor visual glitches, added a creator mode, and fixed the language select issue with touch controls as well. So lots of good updates coming to Snufkin Melody of Moominvalley.
And speaking of updates, Cassette Beasts is getting an update that was shown on March 25th. So that was yesterday. During the 2024 Cassette Beasts showcase, publisher Raw Fury and developer Byton Studio revealed many exciting announcements for the creature collector turn-based RPG Cassette Beasts, including details on a new multiplayer update, a Moonstone Island in-game collaboration event, and its release on mobile devices. So for mobile, the multiplayer update, players can look forward to multiplayer update is coming on May 20th. On this update, people will be able to party and explore the world of Cassette Beasts with up to 8 friends, all visible in their world. Join a Play with Friends mode, where players can match with anyone on their friends list via an invite code, challenge their friends to PvP battles, and assign custom rules to their battles, such as enabling or disabling sticker attributes. Team up for 2-player co-op against rogue fusions, and trade tapes with each other. Additionally, any existing game owner interested in checking out the multiplayer update can access the beta via the beta branch on Steam right now until May 20th. The Moonstone Island collaboration event begins also on May 20th, and fans can jump into an in-game collaboration event with Moonstone Island, which includes Moonstone Island-themed costumes, as well as Cassette Beast Palm Bomb added to the Moonstone Island Spirit roster. It will also launch on mobile devices soon, so new audiences can enjoy it. And you can also get a Cassette Beast merchandise, including a vinyl record reprint t-shirts and a tote bag, as well as plushies. Cassette Beast is also right now available for the Switch, Xbox, and PC.
All right, so we got our first E3-like event planned for this summer. This is the Summer Game Fest, so it'll be a live showcase. It'll be on June 7th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, or 5 p.m. Eastern time. So there's going to be a live in-person event along with a broadcast on at the YouTube theater and stuff. So pretty much there'll be lots of showcases on June 7th, and fans looking forward to all types of different live streams and events, all tied to the Summer Games Fest. So I think this will be kind of the E3 replacement for this year, as we know it's no longer a thing this anymore. So be sure to stay tuned on June 7th for the Summer Games Fest announcements.
And finally, we have the first update for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It's called Warrior's Path. It was made available on March 20th and brought a speedrun mode, permadeath mode, and 4 new outfits for Sargon. The content is free for every player who owns Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown and is only the first of a series of updates. The next updates, available later this year, called Boss Attack and Divine Trials, will respectively include a Boss Rush mode challenge, and new outfits for Sargon, as well as new combat, platforming, and puzzle challenges with new amulets and other surprises.
Nice. Barry, what do you think about these stories?
Lots of updates. I'm happy about the Summer Game Fest just because E3 is gone. Hopefully E3 comes back. I'm not always the biggest fan of Jeff Keighley's stuff, but I'll take what I can get. Prince of Persia, love that game. If you haven't played it already, there is a game chat we did. Phenomenal game. I didn't realize the first patch would be free, so I'm going to download it, but I don't know if it'll bring me back to the game. There's too many other things to do. Same with Snufkin. Played that, enjoyed that. I'm happy to see it getting updated. It is definitely a fun game, and again, we have a game chat on it. And Cassette Beasts, I didn't even realize this was a big thing at all. So it was like, oh god, this is new. So I might have to look into it. Probably won't have the time to play it, but I'm happy for all those players that do. That so sound like good updates.
Yeah, Greg, what stands out to you?
At least it's a lot of positive news this time around. So we got like some awesome game updates and stuff, and that's always great to see that the bugs are getting squashed and things are getting more features and updates and stuff. So definitely happy for like people, anyone still playing Snufkin and the other updates for like Prince of Persia and Persia, not Persia. I don't know why I said that. But yeah. I don't know where I got that word from, but yeah, I guess that's an easier one to pronounce.
That's the Roblox version.
Too. Yeah,
Roblox version.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, and then it'll be just pretty cool to see the Summer Games Fest taking place normally when E3 does. So it's be obviously a topic for a future podcast, Forrest.
Switch 2 announcement.
Maybe. Tristan, what do you think about these news stories?
I had not heard about the new news conference, which like E3 was always an event. Like growing up, it felt like Nerd Christmas to me. So, where everyone's kind of done their own thing ever since Nintendo started doing their directs, and now you got PlayStation and whatever. It's nice to have one central thing to like tune into for a lot of news because it's something to get excited about, right? I don't really necessarily like spreading it out throughout the entire year, because Nintendo like inevitably just like lets me down every single time because they announce like 20 Kirby games every single direct. With the occasional like Super Mario RPG where like, oh, freak out and like, be happy about. But it's I'm excited to see that. And then Prince of Persia. More content for that is always better. I love my Metroidvanias, and that one's a gem.
Nice. Jesse's in the chat and says, big recommendation is Crypt Stalkers. It's on sale right now for $1.99 in the eShop, and be pleasantly surprised if you like older Castlevanias. So that's, I don't think I've heard of that game, but for $2, that's a steal for a game that might play like an old Castlevania game. I think of all this stuff, it's cool to see the updates to Snufkin. I don't know if it's enough to like maybe go back and play it again because I've already beaten it, but it's cool that they've incorporated a lot of stuff. I may went back and check out this creator mode. I don't know what that's all about, but that one kind of stood out to me a little bit. Summer Game Fest. I'm excited that they have like hands-on time and all that stuff this year. It really seems like they are trying to replace E3 with it. And I'm so bummed because I will be out there in the LA area the week after. We're already planning a little mini vacation, but we already had it planned the week after. And so bummed that just barely missed it. But also, if I was planning on going to Super Nintendo World, I don't think I'm going to skip out on that to go to Summer Game Fest instead. So I think I'd still pick Universal. But bummed that it just didn't overlap enough. And I'm with you, Barry. I didn't know Cassette Beast was even a thing, but now with all these updates and everything, I was like, I should probably look into this game. It seems like something that could be really fun. And Prince of Persia, of course, is also fun, and excited to see more content in there as well. Jesse said a little bit of a spoiler in that game. There are 2 games in one. So for $1.99, you're getting 2 games in one. Dang, that's all right. Go check out
$1 a game.
Cryptstalkers. Yeah, that's
As long
great.
as the second one isn't like a Simon's Quest.
I was thinking Inverted Castle, but this Castlevania for me.
So let's jump into our main event tonight, and we've got 2 pretty significant representatives from Premium Edition Games to talk about the Premium Edition Spring Direct. So Barry, I'm going to toss it over to you, and you and Tristan can mostly take the floor from here on out. Greg and I are here to throw our thoughts in, but we're getting to hear from the 2 people behind this Direct. It was happening because of all of you 2 and all your work. So thanks for joining us again, Tristan, and excited to hear you guys talk a little bit more about Premium Edition Direct. And yeah, Greg, toss your thoughts in anytime you want.
Yeah, will do.
So we held our latest Premium Edition Direct last night. It was March 25th. We officially kicked off Series 8, which people have been anticipating for a while because winter is kind of slow. And starting off the Direct, I got to give props to Tristan for absolute kick-ass opening as always. Just the work that Tristan does and in this entire Direct is just phenomenal. And I'm not saying that just because he's here. I would be saying that if he wasn't here.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in, and that I will say, like watching this from the very beginning, I was like, oh wow, they stepped it up, man. This is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, we always try and please, and we want to put on an entertaining show. I think that's part of the hardest things is you're doing a show, and this one just kind of ballooned. Like it was crazy how many things just we were able to put into the show, and I felt bad, especially reviewing it, and I got to the Kickstarter section, I realized it was 20 minutes. I think I sent Tristan a message, like, holy hell, 20 minutes.
I think my response was, yeah, I feel that in my soul.
Yeah. Like we had a lot of back and forth reviewing this. I felt so bad. But we really wanted to give updates because I know a lot of people were asking about like Series 6, and we did that last spring, and Wife Quest will be shipping soon. We're just waiting for the last few things. It's a game we did a game chat on. It's a phenomenal action platformer, and I feel bad for Super Dungeon Maker because everyone been asking for that. Again, we did a game chat on Super Dungeon Maker too, and that game has gotten a big update, and we were waiting for that to be physical. So that update is live, but the developer, because it's such a big update, has found bugs. So we're waiting for the final bug fixes on that. And I know Tristan, you've played that game a lot since the update, way more than I have because you've been writing the manual. Do you want to talk a little bit about like some of those updates that people can expect for Super Dungeon Maker?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first one, and I don't know where, like, if it was like a request or something like that, but I think they thought that playing as like a chicken or something like that wouldn't be as resonant with people, so they added the knight, just to kind of have like a more traditional character to play as. But yeah, there's a lot of content. I mean, like I said, I write the manuals for this, and I had to write the manual. I was very intimidated by having to write the manual for Super Dungeon Maker, which is like so in depth when it comes to like all the things that you can do. So I was really working hand in hand with the developer just so that I didn't get anything wrong. Like, I playing it on my own, I could kind of figure out all the nuances and stuff like that. But, on screen, we've got those triggers that they're showing right now. But there's a lot of intricate things that you can do with these puzzles that they give you options for. So just be prepared whenever you launch the game to I would suggest going into the community dungeons and playing them and seeing what other people have done first, and then doing your own spin on things. But there's just so much content with this game, and I can tell you right now that the difference between before they updated it and this update, everything runs so much smoother than it did on Nintendo Switch. I had a lot of gripes with like slowdown; those aren't existent, and they really seem to have optimized a lot of things in this game. So the update that everyone's been waiting for this game for is absolutely worth it.
That's cool.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like a new game. And like that's when we were
Mhm.
talking with them, we wanted to implement touch support because we talked about that in our game chat and
Yeah.
other people, and the whole team like, can we do touch support? And the publisher told us that they wanted to do it, but it would be a lot to figure out. And instead, if they did that, it would only affect the Switch version of the game. And instead, they opted to add content that would affect both the Switch and the Steam version of the game. It would help both. But to compensate, they made the making of dungeons with the controller much easier to do. So it doesn't feel like a chore anymore. So that
Yeah.
was their compensation. They made it feel smoother. So it's easier to make dungeons on the Switch than it ever was before. And all the added content, it's ridiculous.
That's cool.
So
That's
it's
awesome.
a whole new game. So the carts haven't started yet. Again, we're waiting for the final bug patch, and when it's all done, when we get the go ahead, that's when we're going to order. This way, it's complete on cart. So we just thank everybody for their patience. It's out of our hands. Uh, Following Energy Chart and Lonesome Village are about to enter physical production. We're waiting on a few more things, and Sunshine, we're waiting for Camp Sunshine to get ported over. It was still in the works. Fossil Games has been tirelessly, tirelessly working on getting this. They've been like rebuilding it almost because it was an older game. It was the first game. It was not built for Switch. And I got a message yesterday. So this hasn't been out there. This is exclusive. Got a message yesterday from Paul Fossil Games, who said the save/load issue is fixed. We have 9 maps to check now, and then we can progress. And Camp Sunshine is done. So they're moving ahead. So we should hopefully have that on Switch soon. And then of course, once it's on Switch, we're gonna wait just a little bit to make sure there's no bugs, and then we'll go ahead with the physical. Series 5, talking about on screen now, they're all in stock, but we do have the exclusive Raji for Shopfill. So this 1,500 copies of this. It's exclusive slipcover and dog tag. Shopfill's the only one with it. We didn't even get copies. It is they bought everything. It's all them. So go support them if you want this. It's exclusive variant. Really cool to be able to do these things, and especially as a collector, it's like, ooh. So I had to get my own copy. I have mine.
Yeah,
I had
same
to.
here, and it's such a beautiful game. I mean,
Oh
to
yeah.
begin with. So, for collectors, even if you've played the game, like the artwork is just so gorgeous. Oh, you actually have it in hand.
I
Nice.
actually have it right there. So
I got my
yeah.
shipping notification today.
So I
Nice.
have it. It comes in a plastic bag because the dog tag is loose. So there's like the exclusive
Uh,
dog tag. But yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. So
I still
I had to
think
get a copy.
I still think it's so cool. Like when when we first saw that game and we were talking, and we're like, Barry, you think you're gonna be able to get it on premium edition? We're like, I don't know, it's a long shot. And then here you are having like
We did it.
special editions of the game.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so that one we were happy to do. So then we talked also Jim and Dill 1 and 2, which are NES games, are on the site right now. There's still some silver editions left of those. Those are original Nintendo games from Cal Games, phenomenal games. So if you still love your NES, definitely recommend check them out. And again, all our NES games also come with challenge cards, so you can still get patches with them too. So then this was kind of a bummer behind the scenes thing. We teased last time Carl, again another game chat we did, and it's from Nintendo and Morningstar Studios, Matt Bittner, and I said, hey guys, Carl, Series 8, we good? And they said, oh, we need more time. We need more time with the free content that we're adding. So I said, okay, we'll move you to summer then. He's like, all right, thank you so much. So as compensation, Nintendo was very nice and made us this awesome video to not only explain that there was going to be a delay, that they needed more time, but to also show some of the stuff that is being added to the game. It's the first time this stuff has been seen. So it was really cool to see what they're adding to the dump, and it was beating the game. It's not as useful, but I think if you haven't played this yet, like this is going to make the game easier. You've beaten this, haven't you, Tristan?
Yeah, and dude, it was actually pretty funny. Like I just got back from Game On Expo in
Yeah.
Phoenix, and we were hanging out with Nintendo, like having dinner, and he said that he had to leave early because he had to get Barry this video. And I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. I'm actually I'm the guy editing it, so I'm not going to be able to do anything with it anyway. So don't sweat it, man. He's such a genuinely good person, Nintendo. Like, such a hardworking guy, and just don't have enough good things to say about him.
Oh yeah, he's a real awesome person, and I feel bad because when we do these directs, part of my job is to reach out to everybody and say like, hey, are you A, going to be part of the series, and B, would you provide this for the direct? And we need trailers, we want to do a video, you want to be a part of it. So I always try and make sure Tristan has everything he needs. So it's part of my job to poke them sometimes and be like, hey, we still need this video. So I was poking him because I knew he was going to Game On, and and I felt bad, but when he told me that story, I was just laughing. I'm like, God, it's perfect.
Yeah, it was funny because he didn't realize who I was or what I did or anything. So
that's great.
I absolutely loved like Nintendo's background, like with all the Mega Man and Smash Brothers stuff. Like that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen
if you never seen this, oh, you haven't? Check out his channel.
Yeah.
He does a lot of good videos. He's a really good guy. Definitely recommend him. So then our next reveal was a game we teased, and a game we will have a game chat on soon. Gordian Quest. We teased this last time, but very few people saw that, and we had to tease it that way because now Maximum Entertainment, but they were Modus at the time, asked us to not reveal the game before they were revealing the game. So we had to do that stupid come back 3 days later, which of course no one came back to our YouTube 3 days later to watch the trailer. Every podcast I went on, I said, "Did you see that?" And they're like, "What?" And they like watched it live. I'm like, "This looks cool." I'm like, "Yeah, it would have been really cool as a one more thing." And then Carl obviously wouldn't have been revealed until summer, but no. So it was cool is that we got to do a different trailer this time and actually like give it the proper attention. So this is an epic RPG. It says Dungeons and Dragons style. The way it works is there's 10 heroes. You get to pick one to start with, and then you get to recruit others. Each one has 4 different decks that play differently, so it's really like 40 heroes. And then as you level, you can start to get cards from those other decks and really meld what works for you. But it's not like Magic the Gathering where you need to like really build complicated stuff. Like it's very simplified. You have attacks, you have defense, you have certain abilities. It's super easy to play, but very hard to master. The worlds are huge. The acts are huge. I think it took me like 10 hours or so to beat Act 1. And I just had a blast with it. And I chose to end it. Like you can kind of do more. You can farm it almost. Tristan, how about you? Like with your time with Gordian Quest?
Yeah, it's the same. But like, I don't know if any of you have played Darkest Dungeon, but that's kind of what it reminded me of first. And I didn't have the best experience with Darkest Dungeon too. It's brutally hard. It can be brutally hard. Maybe I'm just bad at the game. I don't know. But Gordian Quest, I know Barry is a fellow Magic the Gathering nerd like I used to be. And so I love card-based combat. I loved Metal Gear Acid. Like that's one of my favorite Metal Gear games. And like card-based combat is just so refreshing in an RPG. Especially of this scale, like and like you said, there's so much to choose from. There's so many different styles of play according to like what's fun for you, kind of like Magic the Gathering is, like
Yeah, there's different like effects like burn and bleed and chill, and you can build upon that where cards will like do more damage. Like this will do 6 damage and then an additional 3 if they already have burn on, kind of deal. And then like there's some cards where like you can gain like defense and heal yourself if you have bleed. So you have to purposely give yourself bleed. So you're taking damage and then heal yourself back up. Like there's a lot of complicated stuff that you can choose to use, but you don't have to. And I love that. I love that it lets you craft your own strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a game we were very happy to be working with Mixed Realms to
Absolutely.
do, and we look forward to everyone getting their hands on it. And we tested this on the Steam because it was on Steam only. And then when we played it on the Switch, like I was surprised at how well it plays on Switch. Like it plays way better than I expected it to because it used a mouse on the PC. But it does a really good job. So briefly, Tristan, you want to take over here a little bit conventions, talk a little bit about conventions since you
Yeah,
do
sure.
more
So, like I said, we just got back from Game On convention, Game On Expo, excuse me. That was in Phoenix, Arizona. Most of the team, a lot of the team, I'm not going to say most of the team, but a lot of the team is actually going to be up at Midwest Gaming Classic that's coming up. It's the weekend after this weekend. That's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You just saw that we had an exclusive version of Rain on Your Parade available at Game On. Shout out to Gamester81, John Lester. Such an amazing guy. Like, just he worked his butt off getting that convention to what it is today, and it was such a good time. Yeah, so there's Midwest Gaming Classic, April 5th to the 7th. We are going to be there. Myself, Scott, Josh, who is the CEO, and then Frank is actually going to be there as well. I've actually never met Frank before. I think Barry will probably
Yes.
be the last member of the team that I'll meet in person. Someday we'll meet,
Someday
but
we'll
I
have
don't
to.
know how that's going to happen.
We'll make it
Because
happen.
I'm not keen on going out to the East Coast. That's just not my thing. I'm from California originally.
It's the same for
and-
us. Like Greg and I have hung out a couple times, but we've never met Barry in person either. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I was joking around. I'm like, I don't know that he's a real person. Maybe he's just AI.
That'd make a lot of sense.
That he's real.
If I'm an AI, then I'm pretty powerful AI to do what I do.
Yeah, all those games
Yeah,
he's able to have time to play. Of course.
Yeah, exactly. That's one more.
Hey, I'm breeding. AI is breeding.
Barry is a tool-assisted speedrun tool.
There you go.
It's probably an acronym for something.
You're probably. So then we took a brief break from Series 8 to talk about Kickstarters because boy, Kickstarters have been really awesome. The first one we talk about is Poglings from Chad Tronic, Right Nice, and Yojoiko, which is Chad's company. Poglings is pretty much answers the question if Sonic, the Chow Garden from Sonic Adventure, never got abandoned by Sega. And Chad had an update. He was able to provide an update video for us on the game, and it looks fantastic. So it was great to be able to show people an update because we haven't shown any new gameplay since the trailer. We launched it last year, and of course we were waiting for the footage. So it was great to be able to show it off, and the reception was really good for Poglings. And the next game we talked about while this plays was Crystalla. And I'm so happy with Crystalla. That game looks better and better and better.
Yeah, every single time we see it, like they just add more and more stuff, and it looks more and more gorgeous. Like, I mean, it's for anyone who loves a Souls-like game, that's going to be a must-play from us. There's just so much to it, so much that you can like craft and like build your character around. I mean, you can kind of see the gameplay trailer that they're talking about right there in our direct, but there's all this like parkour traversal and like stealth aspects, and you can just go in there and brute force if you want to. Just play the way you want to. But anyone who's played a Souls-like game knows that if you end up doing that, you'll probably get wrecked.
Yeah. Oh no, this game requires strategy, and they were just at PAX East this past weekend, showing off the game. Super positive response. with that. Sarah, who's on the screen now, was there at PAX, and they have an early access coming in May. They have a new demo coming, and this when this game is done, it will be on Switch and PlayStation, and we're doing the physical PlayStation right now. We're really interested to see how it runs on Switch. That's what we're waiting to see. So this might be a Switch 2 game, but they did the Kickstarter for Switch. So my guess is if it can't run on Switch, the porting company can't get it to work. It will be converted to a Switch 2 game because it is a beautiful game. And what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of the new footage that they've done for the new demo, and the movement is very much improved. And this is the team's first game too, which is very ambitious for a first game. It's
Wow.
just
I
an
didn't realize
absolute
that.
gorgeous. Yes, their first game.
Wow.
So like we're really happy to be working with them and continuing to support them. And the cool thing is if you're interested in the Kickstarter exclusive version of the PlayStation 5 game, there is a backer kit. You can still get it through their backer kit. You can still support them in other ways by their backer kit. So I do recommend if you're watching this and you say this looks fantastic or this sounds fantastic, and absolutely give them the support. This is probably one of the nicest teams overall I've ever encountered. They are just absolute sweethearts.
You can
So
also wish list them on Steam
yes,
as well, correct?
yeah, you can wish list this on Steam. You can wish list Poglings as well. All the Kickstarters you can wish list on Steam. It just shows them interest. It helps them out. It helps them with the metrics. So you absolutely can assist them that way.
That's cool.
So then we talked about a Kickstarter that's available right now. In fact, it ends on the 2nd. A Kickstarter that I think the entire team universally is so happy with.
So excited
Uh,
about this one.
and that's Godshard Chronicles. This game, if you haven't backed this yet, please do. I want to hit 200,000. I want to get to play as a dog. You absolutely can help.
I forgot about that.
That is the 200,000.
That is the stretch goal
goal.
for 200,000. Yeah.
That is. This is an action RPG like Secret of Mana, Legend of Zelda. Just beautiful, beautiful art. Like the palette is just gorgeous. The music, like every time I see this trailer and I hear the music, I tear up. It is just a beautiful, beautiful song. All the music is gorgeous. It's going to be a multi-disc soundtrack, and it's all done by composers from Lunar and Wild Arms and Final Fantasy 11 and Crystal Chronicles and scenario writers from other RPGs, classic RPGs, are going to be a part of this game. Like this has RPG pedigree in it, and Elman Dean Todd, who wrote it and is leading the development, is such a wonderful, wonderful person. I called him to have a meeting, and we talked for like almost 3 hours just shooting it. Like just an absolute gem of a human being, and I'm so happy that we can help get this funded because this is over 300% funded at this point. So it's not a matter of will this come out. It's funded. So it's voice acted.
Yeah.
It's oh my god.
And the more people back this, the more content we're gonna get. So please, people, don't sleep on this. It only makes the game better. If you decide that you're going to pick this up later after the Kickstarter, it's too late to help them, reach those next stretch goals.
Yeah, there's also community goals too for like wish listing on Steam and joining their Discord and following them on Twitter. Like nothing doesn't cost you anything. These are just then they add content to the game. Like the more goals they accomplish, the more stuff is actually added to the game. There's the dog, by the way. Like right there, there's the dog.
Yeah. So from a design perspective, and we talked about this on the Kickstarter, they talked about this talking with Barry. We want to give it the working designs treatment. If anyone's familiar with working designs in the PlayStation and Saturn and PlayStation 2 briefly, like they make their cases very shiny, everything's very very pretty, and we want to make it our working designs worthy release. So man, if you guys have any ideas of what you want to see, reach out to us on Discord or Premium and let us know, because myself and Jeff, we're going to be the ones designing the packaging for this.
Yep. Yeah, everything that we've shown off thus far has literally been just a placeholder. It's too early to do final designs, so it's it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna give this game the treatment it truly deserves, because we do that with every game. But I mean,
yeah,
just
but
looking at it,
this
like,
one is,
oh,
I mean, it's got the pedigree, so
this is a
we
pedigree.
really
we
can't screw this one up. People will be very upset with us.
Yes, no, we want to please them, and it's just like when we did Mighty Fight Federation. They wanted all those Power Stone references, and we wanted all those Power Stone references, so we made it happen. So we were going to do the same thing here. But then we surprised everybody with a brand new Kickstarter, which launched today, literally a day after. You want to talk a little bit about Atomic Owl, Tristan?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's is there a playable version of this, because I haven't played it, I don't think.
No.
Okay.
No playable version.
Good. My memory's bad. I play a lot of games, and I tend to forget some of the things that I've play tested in the past. So, but this one, I mean, as you can see, it's a really vibrant, kind of like cyberpunk looking game, with 2D action scrolling combat. And this guy, he used to work for Gearbox. It sounded like he said he worked on Borderlands 3, right? And then started his own studio. He loves these games like Dead Cells and Hollow Knight. He wanted to make his own game in his own like style, and I believe this owl's name is Hidalgo, who has a very chatty demonic blade that takes several forms. So, like, you can have a sword, you can have a whip, you can have a hammer, you can have a giant bludgeoning broadsword, and like all these buffs. But I don't necessarily think this is a Metroidvania, from what I've seen. However, I bet there are backtracking elements to it. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, I think it's more, not necessarily Metroidvania, but kind of like platforming, in the sense that you have to beat a world, you need to beat all the stages in that world. But
Yeah.
if you die, you go back to the beginning, but you're stronger. And
Yeah.
again, with the power ups you get, you could do a lot of cool things, and just the aesthetics and the lighting, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be a chore, because of the games it's inspired by, which again, like, they took Shovel Knight, they took Hollow Knight, they took Cyberpunk, they took a lot of the stuff that people love and used that for their inspiration on this game. And like I said, this game launched today. It launched at 11 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. And as of this recording, it's sitting at $12,327 of a $35,000 goal. So it is doing extremely well already. It hasn't been, even 12 hours at this point. It's got the project we love from Kickstarter, doing really well. Like, it's exceptional.
Jakster's in the chat and says it looks like a lot like Celeste, which I'd agree.
Yes.
Yeah, has that look to it.
Yes, absolutely. So we're doing PS5 and Switch versions, and again, Kickstarter exclusive versions. So you can grab those on the Kickstarter now. And again, if you grab those now, you're actually helping build the game, because they're stretch goals, and you're actively helping the game be better, because they'll have more funds to make the game better. So we definitely implore people to support while you can. Again, Eldar, he is a fantastic guy. I've had so many conversations with him. He's awesome. So please support this game. Please support Godshard. We need 200,000 for the dog. We're at 162,594 with
Get
7
Barry
days to
his
go.
dog.
I know. I want to play the dog too. Dang it.
Yeah, get the dog. We want the dog. So yeah, so those are the Kickstarter announcements. We do have some more stuff to talk about down the road, but we're really happy with the Kickstarters that are going on right now. Atomic Owl, we expect to be funded here in a few days, which will make us 5 for 5 with Kickstarters, and we like that track record. We like to keep it up. So we then get back into Series 8. Now, this was the most exciting part for me, starting with Atomic Owl, only because everything beforehand we had at least shown off. Everything beforehand is stuff that we could talk about. But going forward, we couldn't. And the first was Atomic Owl, and the second was Tadpole Treble Encore, which was a game that, we've had this game for a while. This is a fun game, and we were waiting for the right time, and we're like, this is it. This is when the world needs humor, and this game is funny. This is a rhythm platformer with a ton of levels, all original songs, lots of throwbacks to previous games, like of gaming history, including Mario. There's just this was a Kickstarter. Speaking of Kickstarter, this was a Kickstarter. It got funded, critically acclaimed. This was a Wii U game as well. This was launched on the Wii U. So it's the Wii U version is dead now. Naturally, you can't get it anymore. So it was brought to Switch. It was added stuff on, just to make the game that much better. And the best thing is they added the music creator, so you can now create your own levels. So think Mario Paint, where you were able to make your own music in Mario Paint. You can now do that in this game and then play through the levels and have your friends play through the levels. It is just a joy of a game. It is so much fun. You'll find yourself probably cracking up at half the songs. It's just a blast. And the creators of the songs are the brothers you're about to see on screen, and they are very funny. They they are
Those
awesome.
guys crack me up.
Yeah, that segment was hysterical. I loved watching them like interact and like, "Hey, get out of my house!" Like, it was just like they did such a good job as like selling it. Like it was so great.
Yeah,
and now I
that's their
want
humor.
Cliffhanger for my collection, like he has.
Yeah. You could tell they're just having a blast. And when I was talking to them, they actually said there's some truth to this sketch. That is their house. However, they were dog sitting for their parents. That's not their dog. That's actually their parents' dog. So they technically were not, like holding their own dog. They were were kind of holding someone else's. So there's a little bit of truth to that whole sketch. But you can tell they're just very humorous. They've got a good sense of humor, and they're so happy to get their game funded from Kickstarter is a good thing. Get it onto the Wii U, which of course is like the worst system to put your game on. Get it rescued by bringing to the Switch, and now you're getting it physical. And you know what? This is a game that I didn't. I played it, when we were approached, but it's one of those where when we revealed it, I saw so many messages. People were so happy that this is getting a physical, and I'm like, wow, I'm so happy people knew that this game. I thought like this was going to be like someone, I never heard of this game, but there's a big following for this one, and it's unlike anything else.
This is the first game in Barry's crusade to rescue games from dead consoles. So we've got one from Gizmondo coming up. We've got one from the Tapwave Zodiac.
Oh, absolutely.
No, not really. No, I actually had no idea that this was even on the Wii U. Like, I'm a physical, like games buyer, and I hardly ever veer out of my lane and go on the eShop and buy anything. So, yeah, it's no wonder that I missed this one. But I love rhythm games, and from what I've heard about this, it's got really hilarious lyrics in a lot of the songs. Some which are like inappropriate and like adulty jokes. So we'll got that to look forward to.
Yeah, no, it's a like I said, it's definitely one of those games that if you're unsure, you're still probably gonna love it because it plays like a Mario in a sense. Like,
So yeah, can you explain how it plays? Because I think I wasn't really getting that from the trailer. It seemed I could definitely tell about the Mario or Mario Music Maker kind of stuff, but I was like, okay, how does this game actually play?
So you're playing on a music scale, and what it is you have to dodge the enemies that are placed on the scale, and you have to collect the pink bubbles, and you got to collect the bubbles, and it kind of tricks you at first because you're used to hitting the targets, like, oh, I have to hit the targets, but you have to avoid the targets. So you have to go through the level avoiding everything. So if you watch the trail, you see all the black dots. You're trying to avoid all that. When you hit the yellow orbs, you get to jump into the air. You're collecting the bubbles. The objective is to collect all the bubbles. So you're actively trying to dodge everything while playing, but it's all to the beat of the music. Those are actually the notes that you're dodging while you're going through the levels, and they get harder and harder as it goes down. And some levels start going backwards, like you're instead of going left to right, you're suddenly going right to left, and it throws you completely off because you're so used to going left to right. It is honestly a real gem of a game, and it's so unique. Like it's unlike anything else I've played, and
That's
I
cool.
feel it doesn't get enough attention because there's a billion games in the eShop, you know.
Yeah.
So it definitely has a that fun rhythm style game. So again, I implore everyone to give it a try because it blew us away. We can then go to the next game, our final Series 8 title, which is Scarlet Tower. So Scarlet Tower is it's very reminiscent of another very popular game called Vampire Survivors, but it's so much more. In fact, before I go into it, I just saw a message from Scott, our street guy, just said, "Man, Scarlet Tower is better than Vampire Survivors in every way." Literally, just he's getting into it more, and he's just like, the more you get into this game, the better. So the way it works is you get to pick different heroes. I think you start with only 2, but then you unlock the others. Each hero has a completely different skill trees, completely different moves, and multiple builds. So every time you can play differently. And you go into this arena and you auto attack. Your character will auto attack. Your objective is to dodge. You've got to dodge. Just stay moving, keep moving. And as you kill enemies, you will level up and you will gain you get like 3 different abilities you can pick from. So based on which ones you pick, you'll survive longer or not. And eventually you will die. Like 30 minutes goes, you will die. The final boss will pretty much get you. It's like the Grim Reaper. And then you take that and you use your points that you gain from that run to increase your character or unlock a new hero, whatever you want to do. And then you go back into it. And it constantly changes and you constantly get stronger. And it's that one more run mentality. Like it's only 30 minutes. I could do one more run. I could do it. And it's simplistic in scope, like just like that. My description was simplistic, but in terms of execution and in terms of content, it's anything but. It's incredibly rich. It's incredibly deep. There's
It's
an
a twin stick.
incredible amount of content. No, it
Yeah.
auto fires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
auto. So you just run. It will auto target stuff.
Interesting.
I mean, I think you can shoot one projectile. I think you can do twin stick with one, but a lot of the other stuff it's just auto. And yeah, you're constantly on the move, and you're like these boss arenas where you like they start shrinking in on you, so you've got to try and destroy the ring to get out of it while the boss is hunting you down, and it adds that tension. And there's a day-night system. You can see in the top right there's a day-night, and certain abilities will affect you in the day or night depending. So like I had a run where during the night I had this incredible region, and it was great because I was like constantly regenerating my health. And even if I took a hit and I was fighting a boss and I was like, I got this, and it turned to daytime and I lost that. And then he hit me and I was like, oh, I'm not regaining anymore. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I died. And I was relying on that region because I built it up purposely because I was like, oh yeah, keep stacking it, because every ability you can stack multiple times. So if you get a move that says, fireball does 10 damage or whatever, and then the next time you level up, you can choose fireball level 2. Now it does 15 damage, or shoots 3 fireballs instead of 1 fireball. So you could get it up to like level 5. So you build yourself up to however you want to play, and you find out what works for you and what doesn't. So it's constantly changing, and it is very addicting.
I'm afraid of playing this game on the fact of how addicted I think I'm going to be playing it. I love it's not a traditional twin stick shooter, but like I've got thousands of hours poured into The Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Those types of games. I've never played Vampire Survivors, although like I hear Jeff talk about it all the time. Like he was obsessed playing it. This game looks incredible. I mean, like, harkening back to the days of like Smash TV,
Yeah.
like it's an easy game to pick up, but it's a really tough game to master. And gosh, it's just so pretty, especially for like a bullet hell. I'm a bullet hell shooter fan too, so like this is just like the culmination of like everything that I love in a video game, and I cannot wait to. I've purposely held off playing this until I have to write the manual because I know I'm not going to be able to put it down. And right now I have way too many manuals I'm writing, and yeah.
It also has that Castlevania style aesthetic.
Yes,
too,
absolutely. Oh yeah, Castlevania, dude. Oh, I love it. And the music. We haven't even talked about the music.
The music in all these games is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the time where, as I was watching, I had something else that grabbed my attention for whatever reason. I had pulled away from the screen, and then all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, "What is this?" Like, okay, you got my attention. Whatever it was that I was paying attention to is not anymore.
Yeah, there were so many like flashing lights and stuff like that. I actually thought like maybe of putting a flashing lights disclaimer like before that trailer, Barry. But I didn't do it, but I probably should have, just to cover ourselves.
That's right. Yeah, so fun fact, Scarlet Tower is still it's in lot check right now for digital, so it's not actually on the Switch yet. It'll be probably a week or two, hopefully, depending on when Nintendo lets it out. We've only played the Steam version and loved it. So this is one of those games that you might even be able to pre-order the physical before the digital, but we are going to wait and make sure it's content complete on Steam. So it would just be bug fixes. It's not like there's new content. So we'll have plenty of time. We'll make sure that it's no bugs on the Switch version. But yeah, we're all excited to. I'm going to be so addicted on the Switch version,
dude. Seriously,
because I'll be able to sit on my couch. It's such a good game, and just another great developer, Douglas. He is such a wonderful guy. I think he's Brazil. He's in Brazil, and we had a lot of our meetings via text because he was unsure about his English, and just what a wonderful guy. So charming, so respectful and appreciative of everything, and really great that we get to work with him and bring this out. And this is a little, again, behind the scenes. We talked about this, I think, last night in the stream too, but Carl was supposed to be in this series, and when Carl had to move, this was the game that took its spot. I said, Douglas, hey, when you're signed, you want in the series? And he was like, yes, like absolutely. So Scarlet Tower actually took Carl's spot, which is great. So we got a really kick-ass game in, and we have another kick-ass game now for the summer. I think this is going to go over really well when people get to play this. I think this is going to be a sleeper hit because people aren't expecting it, and the Vampire Survivors is big. And I think if people who love Vampire Survivors try this game out, they won't be able to go back to Vampire Survivors. No. But we didn't end there. We did a quick recap of a couple things, pretty much everything in there, including the fact that we have a bunch of stuff in stock. So please check out the in-stock games. It absolutely helps us, and you get some kick-ass games. The Mega Packs are available right now for all of these games, all the Series 8. You can buy them right now. They're on the webpage. We have multiple Mega Packs. We have everything. We have all the standards, and we have all the retros. And Gordian Quest is available, of course, right now for pre-order. And Scarlet Tower and Tadpole Treble Encore will come in the coming months. And again, we Jim and Dill 1 and 2 are also available for pre-order right now on the webpage. And the Kickstarters, like I said, Godshard Chronicles is up right now, and Atomic Owl just started as well.
What's that book, Barry?
Oh, in the books, and there's the books. You were talking about those at the beginning of the direct, or at the beginning of the
console
podcast.
guide.
There's your console guide, so that's available. So pick up Tristan's console guide. It's available. Pick it up. Support him. It's a great book. It's a great book. That's not the one that you got mad at me about. It's the next one that you got mad at me about. But then we did the hype button.
I see a hype button. What?
A hype button.
Yeah.
This is always a fun thing. It's always great to do the hype button. And this This was a good one to get. This one we were very, very thrilled
Yeah,
to be
the
able to do
entire
it.
team, like across the board,
Entire
loved this
team.
game. It's so much
Entire
fun to
team.
play.
There wasn't even a debate. Like sometimes it'll be like, well, I'm not a big RPG fan, or I'm not a big, Metroidvania fan, or whatever. Like so, like 90% of the team is on board, and the other ones are whatever. I'm the odd man out. This one, no, everybody, 100%. Everybody is in love with Curse Crackers, and the reception has been phenomenal. So if you haven't played Curse
Mhm.
Crackers, this is an action platformer that has a Game Boy Color aesthetics, and it fluid, and it rewards, you know, doing skill shots, and finding all the hidden collectibles, and it's just this light-hearted adventure. You have this open world. You got quests. There's like side quests in this game where you can help characters out and explore. And it's a big, big game. And I realize it's the second game we released where you have to, save your boyfriend or husband.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. I was thinking about that too.
but uh, but no, it is just a phenomenal game. This is from Color Grave, and I can't tell you how many people erupted in just exclamation when this game came out. I even had another publisher contact me afterwards saying, "Congratulations on Curse Crackers. That's a game we would love to have done." So it was really nice to see. Good congratulations between publishers. But yeah, we are truly honored to be working with them. And this is not part of the series. This is part of the summer series. So you can't pre-order it yet, but I do implore you to check them out and support Color Grave, and check out their other projects. And when this is on the Switch already, if you want to get it digitally, but support the physical as well, because this team is very appreciative, and they're just honored. I mean, the illustrator did this animation for us. Like this was all done custom for this direct, and I was like, this is awesome. Like you didn't have to go this
Yeah,
hard.
it's
You
hilarious.
could have just given us the video or the audio, and we would have been fine with it. But they went that hard with it.
That's funny. Yeah, I think I've heard of the game, but I kind of forgot about it. But definitely never played it before.
No,
But yeah,
it's
like
awesome.
Jake's saying in the chat as well, it looks like something's from the Game Boy Color. I think that's the
Absolutely.
idea behind it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they were
did it on
going for.
purpose. Exactly what they were going for. So that's the direct in a nutshell. Obviously glossed over a few things, and if you haven't watched it yet, please do watch it. It is a labor of love. Tristan, locked himself in a room for 4 days to
This very
put it
room.
together. To put it together. So give him some love, give him some shout out. Watch it for Tristan and watch it for these developers. They all contributed to the direct. It was great to have them all be a part of it, and support the Kickstarters. And obviously, check out the games that we have for sale at premiumeditiongames.com, because, like I said, we have a bunch of in-stock games that are phenomenal games that, if you haven't tried yet, it could become your next favorite game. And then, of course, we have the Series 8 pre-orders. So pre-order those, and definitely give those developers some love, because, we stand behind every game we put out, and we stand behind these, and we think they're all phenomenal, phenomenal games that are worthy of your time.
That's cool.
Absolutely. And this isn't a dig against any other direct that we've done or any other series that we've done, but this one was just full of bangers. So, yeah.
No,
The reception from our community has been nothing short of awesome.
oh yeah.
And really excited to be able to work on all of these games. Like I mean, we even had Curse Crackers like reach out to us today, the day after the direct, saying, "Hey,
Yes.
what art assets can we get you? We're eager to work on this." We're like, "Whoa, we're not ready yet."
Yeah, they literally are like, we're so excited about this that we don't want to sit still. We're like, you're not Series 8. Like, keep in mind, you're not Series 8. You are Series 9. Like, you are the tease. And they're like, no, like we want to do something. How can we help? So I'm like, all right, we'll get you the ability to send over the assets, and absolutely, we were excited to see what you do. And we love when developers are like that, because it shows their passion. It shows that they're
Yeah,
willing to go
and
above and
dude,
beyond.
across the board, like every developer that we work with and for, like, obviously it's their baby, it's their blood, sweat, and tears have been poured into this, and we really want to make sure that the product that we put out is not only something we can be proud of, but something that they can be proud of, that they can share with their family and friends, and say, hey, look what I've done. I mean, it's one thing to be on the eShop and have your game on the eShop and a complete game, but to have it physically in your hands is just, there's nothing like it.
That's cool.
And if you've ever seen our physicals or held our physicals, we go above and beyond. They're not typical. They're very, very different, and that's why we get developers wanting to work with us. One of the reasons is they want that. Why wouldn't they want the best for their baby? And we let them have that control. Like, for all we know, Curse Crackers, Tristan's not gonna have to do anything. Like, they're just gonna be like, here, we did everything for you, and we're so excited to work on it. And we've had developers do that before, where they're like, hey, guess what? We've been thinking about this, and we got these ideas, and we have this art, and this is what we want to do. And we're like, cool. Makes
Well,
our
yeah,
lives easier.
for Scarlet Tower, for example, like, I was putting together the mock-ups for, like, what we were going to show, like, what they were, and I had already done mock-ups for just some basic mock-ups for the manual and the CD and stuff like that. Like, they're all subject to change, but then I see what Scarlet Tower actually did. I'm like, man, mine sucks. I'm using theirs. That looks way better.
It's not that yours sucks. It's you had very limited assets. They have all the assets.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Like even Scarlet Tower, for example, like the slipcover you used is not. I don't think that's going to be the standard one, because I think they provided an even nicer standard slipcover that will be revealed at a later time. And that's why we put art subject to change, because a lot of these, like I said, the mock-ups, it's really, we want to get that stuff done. But during the pre-orders, it's not like we're just sitting with our hands on our butts. It's literally talking with the developers, and they're coming up with ideas, and they're providing arts, because they have it all. They have art teams. They're excited about this, and we want them to have their dream game. So they're like, oh yeah, I want this to look like this, and oh, I want this to look like this, and they come up with it. So okay.
Yeah,
and
Raji's retro box changed like 3 times before, and they made like a specific piece of art just for that they wanted on the box. So yeah, like he was saying, they wanted a specific way sometimes, and of course we're gonna give them what they want. But sometimes that involves like commissioning a new piece of art, which takes time.
Yeah. Or reusing, like my big example is like Demon's Tier. When we did Demon's Tier Plus back in Series 2, Jeff actually had a piece commissioned for the retro box, like on canvas, and then transferred digitally. And then Calcat was like, oh yeah, I have this piece of art, would you like to use? And it was fantastic. And we're like, oh my god, that's the retro box. Like, that's such a better retro box. But then we took the art that we had already commissioned for the retro box, and we made that the inlay art. So when you open up the game, that art we still used it. We just used it in a different spot. So sometimes art will be shifted around and reused and put elsewhere. And we always try and use it whenever we can. But we want the best pieces, of course. We want to do right by the developers.
That's cool. Yeah, I think as you said it already, Tristan, like I was blown away by the games that you guys got coming up right now. Like the selection, I mean, just seeing one after another, it was like, okay, you're not messing around anymore. Not that you were before, but it's definitely, the games that you're going after are very quality games, and they look great. Sounds like they play awesome as well. And yeah, it's really cool to see that. Greg, what'd you think of the Premium Direct?
It was definitely full of bangers. Like, I've a lot of games I've ever even heard of, like even like the Treasure Crackers or whatever, like the Curse Crackers or whatever. I never even heard of that, and that looks super fun, and I definitely want to try to check that out. So it's like a number of games that I'm be looking into either buying a physical version of or just getting them from the eShop or whatever. So lots of awesome, great games there. But yeah, I mean, I know from at least Premium has always had a lot of great games under wraps. Some of them are sleepers, unfortunately, but can't be nice to strike lightning with every title,
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
you
we,
know what? It's one of those things where you never know. Like of your
Mhm.
favorite game, someone else could be like, "Oh, I don't want that game. My game sucks."
Mhm.
Everyone's
Yeah.
different.
yeah, because I mean, I had absolutely loved the hell out of Rain on Your Parade, and then like I was super surprised that it didn't even like sell through like the initial shipment back in Series 5. So like that was very surprising to me. I was giving it like glowing above reviews and everything, and I absolutely loved the heck out of it. So
Yeah, that's what it is. Is a lot of people there's so many games that they just haven't heard of these games, and that's the crying shame about it. Even Curse Crackers. I was talking to the developer, and he told me he's like, everyone told us the Switch was this golden paradise. Like
Mm.
gold, like absolutely get your game on Switch. So we did. We spent the money to port Curse Crackers, and the sales have been terrible.
Hmm.
And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Sales. No one's heard of the game. It's terrible." I'm like, "Your game is phenomenal. Like our entire team, like we have one person who hasn't done as much and is just like, I'm out of retirement. Like let's go. I want to work on this game. Like it's absolutely a phenomenal experience." And I told him, I said, "Look, you have the entire team behind you. We absolutely want to do this game. We want to be behind you. We want to do it right. We want to get you the exposure." And that's one of the beauties of doing this direct, because especially and I told him, I said, "We will make you the tease game." And I said, "The tease game has multiple bonuses. One, you get in 2 directs. Two, you get that hype build up for the anticipation for the next direct. But three, there are people that will be like, I want the physical, but I also don't want to wait. And they will see that and they will go out and buy." So I haven't talked with them about it, but I really hope that actually generated sales for him, because that's what we want. We want support for these developers. We want to bring attention to these developers and these games because they're all phenomenal. And I hope, people support the physical, because it helps support the developer more. And if a developer is supported and you like their games, fun fact, they're going to keep making games. And if you already like what they do, that means more games you're already going to like. So
Mhm.
support, support, support. So many people want to pirate it or they want things for free. And game development is not cheap. Porting is not cheap. We really take care of our developers and we want them to keep going. We want all of these developers. We're excited for every game, what they're going to come up with next, and we want to keep them developing, and we want you guys to enjoy.
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think the main problem is the awful design of the eShop in general. It's like
What's terrible?
super very
Yeah.
not intuitive at all, and I think that's where it's super easy just to get lost in the flow. Because I know even on the last podcast there were games that the indie devs were complaining because EA just like dropped like, oh, here's 12 new titles, and then boom, it's
Yeah.
off
Yeah,
off
and
the
then
trending
all of a
page,
sudden
and
you're
then the
immediately
fair.
buried.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's so many games. We do it every week. Here's the games coming out, and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Like I remember back when we were doing the podcast in 2016, and we were we were talking about games for the Wii U, and there was nothing. It was like, there's a dust ball rolling down the here, and now it's the polar opposite. Now it's like, can we clog this dam and take a break?
Right.
Because there's just so much, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane.
Hmm.
And it's such a shame because a lot of great games just get missed that way unless they are fortunate enough to be featured in like one of the partner showcases or the indie focused ones as well too. I mean, otherwise it just gets lost in the sea of stuff that just like comes out. So I mean, obviously if you're like Shovel Knight and even like Hollow Knight, those got beyond praise and got almost elevation to like a high level indie. So like obviously
Yeah.
a lot of other idiots aspire to be that kind of get that kind of game, but it can't always
Yeah,
get that lightning
yeah,
strike.
having a good game isn't enough nowadays. You got to really get lucky too.
Mm.
With your exposure and just it blowing up in the right way in the right time.
Hmm.
You never really know what's going to catch traction.
Yeah.
As you were saying, Rain on Your Parade is an amazing game, and people just haven't heard of these things. So, like, you just don't know how it's going to gain traction, which
Hmm.
is why, what Barry does for Premium Edition is so important. he's digging in the weeds and trying to find these diamonds in the rough in order for us to elevate them and give them the attention that they deserve. Not that, you know, we're still struggling to get to people to know who we are, which is a problem.
Yes.
Like, you know, I go to conventions, and whenever people say I've never heard of you, I'm just like, man, how have you never heard of us?
Do you like video games?
Yeah.
It always hurts. You know, it's one of those where a lot of people we're getting more notice as the company grows, and definitely by developers. Developers know who we are, and that's the beauty. But you know, it's funny when you just look at it from that weird perspective where there's just so many games, nobody knows what they are, and it's almost sad. And I think, you know, you're talking about Rain on Your Parade. And I'll never forget this conversation with Scott. It was at Retro Game Con in Syracuse this previous year, 2023. He was there, and Metal Jesus Rocks was doing a panel, and someone asked him during the panel and said, "Hey, what's a game that you feel doesn't get the attention it deserves that is a truly phenomenal game?" And his answer was Rain on Your Parade, because he had a physical from us. He played our physical. He loved it. And he said that. And Scott said after that panel, people came up to the booth and he completely sold out of Rain on Your Parade. Like everyone came up and they said, I have to buy this game now. And he was out. And it was like, where were you all before? Like, this game's been sitting on the table. No one's touching it. And now everyone's buying it.
You just need him to do that at like all of your conventions. Be like,
you
know what game really is great? Pigeon Dev's collection.
Yes.
Well, he does videos for us, and you know we have a lot of influencers do videos for us, and it helps. It always helps. You know, it's just some people.
Like you said, there's just so many games nowadays, which is, you know, it's a double-edged sword thing. You know, it's great that there's so many games to play. But there's so many games to play.
Now. Go on, Greg.
I was gonna say that's the problem when you hit such huge commercial success. I mean, the Wii got filled with shovelware, and like everyone wants a piece of that pie. So then it's like the Switch is already number 3 selling console. It's already surpassed the Wii. So then obviously you are getting the quality stuff that you want, but then you're also are letting in all the shovelware, and that's where everything just gets buried. And then nobody wins because the shovelware doesn't sell, and then also the quality games get buried underneath everything else.
The truth is right now, right this second, if video game development stopped, no new video games from this point on ever. That's the end of it. My son, who is 9 months old, would not be able to play every game that exists before he dies, like at all. And I'm saying he wouldn't be like, oh well, he's scraping the bottom of the barrel playing crappy shovelware games. Like, no, he wouldn't be able to play all the good games before he died at this point, because there's so many, let alone the average games, let alone the bad games. And every week we're only adding 20 to 50 more games, it feels like, across all platforms between Steam and Switch and PlayStation and Xbox, and it's just insane.
Yep. Well, let's move on.
It depends on your definition of play, though. I mean, if you're trying to complete every game, with games like Xenoblade, that's going to take you 150 hours. But if you only play Xenoblade for like 1 hour, then you can easily play through
I'm
a
saying
vast majority
play with
of games.
enjoyment. I'm not saying boot up, Pac-Man and move to the right for a second and go, I played it. Well, technically you did, but you didn't play Pac-Man.
Even doing that would take a long time.
Yeah, that would take you a long time.
Well, let's move on. And before we jump into what's coming up over the next couple weeks, let me tell you something that's coming up very, very soon, as Nintendo decided to drop a little news item on us, and like they sometimes like to do. And we are going to be getting F-Zero Maximum Velocity on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack for the Game Boy Advance. So that'd be dropping on March 29th. If you've never played F-Zero Maximum Velocity, soon you'll have that chance. Any of you guys excited about playing another F-Zero game?
Yeah, love for F-Zero is always good.
Tristan, not so much, though.
Well, I mean, I have fond memories of playing F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, like whenever it was first a thing. But I never really went back to it.
Did you play Maximum
Aside from
Velocity on
like
your
a couple
GBA
of
though?
like Japanese arcade experiences, but F-Zero really wasn't one that resonated with me that I went back to. So
Yeah.
I'll leave that to you guys. You can play it.
Greg?
I don't think I played the Game Boy Advance version, but if it's anything like the Mario Kart version where they kind of like went backwards instead of like the 64 one that was much better, I don't know if it would be one I'd want to play. So if they, I don't know if they did the N64 F-Zero yet or
Yep,
not,
they
but
did.
I know that
F-Zero X
one.
is there.
Yeah. Yeah, that one and also the GameCube one, I had really enjoyed
Oh,
the
yeah.
heck out of for F-Zero. But if it's like a step backwards where it's closer to the SNES version than the 64 version, then I might not boot it up right away. It wouldn't be like a must play.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more Super Nintendo because the GBA was like a portable Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fun. I'm glad that it's, more games.
Yeah,
but
I'm not saying like don't bring any more games. No, I mean it's
Yeah.
always great when they make additions. There's gonna be people out there that remember it very fondly, and that was like their childhood and everything. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
for me personally, it's not something to be like, oh yeah, it's finally. But
Right.
I just want to see
I
more
know-
F-Zero love because that means we'll maybe get a new entry because they build up, keep the IP. We got F-Zero 99 last year.
Don't be
Keep
getting
the
our
IP.
hopes up, Barry.
You know,
Don't do
maybe
it.
they'll
Don't do it.
if you see F-Zero GP Legend appear on GBA NSO next, you know they're ramping for something.
Mhm.
If we get a new F-Zero before we get a new Punch Out, I'm going to be upset. That's just me personally.
Maybe it's a
but
crossover.
but truthfully, the last F-Zero was the GameCube with GX and the arcade AX. The last Punch Out was on the Wii, so technically, Punch Out had a more recent, version. If you don't count F-Zero 99, because that's
That doesn't mean
that's-
I'll still be upset. I don't care when it came out.
I'm with you. So looking at games that are coming out over the next couple weeks, and in addition to F-Zero Maximum Velocity, as always, we're going to be scrolling these on the screen. Compliments of Metacritic, but not a ton of like big games that I noticed, but maybe you guys did. A couple that I want to mention were March 28th, we're getting Pepper Grinder. We've talked about that before. The demo is out there right now that you can play, and those of us that have played it really enjoyed the demo. Also on April 4th, we're getting Freedom Planet 2 and Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, Sacred Reunion. And then on April 9th, we're getting Botany Manor. So our next podcast will be recorded on April 9th. And so over the next couple of weeks, those are the ones that stood out to me. Barry, any of those stand out to you, or any others that you're hoping to play in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, those are all good games. I'm seeing some other good ones like Love is coming out, which is cool to see. But for me, I'm going to be trekking along with Dragon's Dogma 2, and then if I finish that or I get to the point where I want to move on, Like a Ronin came out as well, so I have that to go through. So I'm right now comfortable with those games. I don't need more on top of future game chats and obviously games testing for premium. So I've got a good list right now. I'll probably get Scarlet Tower when it comes. I'll get the code and I'll be addicted to that. So Oh, look, there's 1,000 X Resist. That was just at PAX. That got some good stuff, good reviews.
Cool. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, the Pepper Grinder and definitely the Double Dragon was most interesting that I had saw. But obviously I'll be trying to finish up that Roblox event before in the next 4 days here, and then finally jumping back into Paper Mario 64 so I can get that completed before 1,000-Year-Old Door releases, and that's coming right around the corner fast so that I can be ready for it. So
Nice.
You got to play some Gordian Quest for a review.
yes, I do. That's also on the list, and also the High Water as well too.
Nice. Tristan, I know you're playing more Final Fantasy VII. Anything else?
Yeah, so actually, you mentioned Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door. Like, what is the release date for that? I actually forgot.
It is May 20th something.
Okay, so that is coming up ish. I know. I've been seeing a lot of like YouTube videos of the like intro and stuff like that.
Yeah, they
So I
just
knew that
dropped
it
that
was
today.
near. Okay, that's why I was seeing it. Yeah, looking forward to that. And then I've got a couple of Kickstarters that I backed a while ago. I don't know the release date, but I'm really looking forward to Ayuden Chronicles, which is
Oh yeah.
the spiritual successor to Suikoden. Love that series. Absolutely love that series.
Cool.
But yeah, between Premium and Final Fantasy VII, I've got my hands full, so I really don't have much more bandwidth.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't think we mentioned it on a previous podcast, but the Nintendo is looking to go back to the Thursday releases. So back in the Wii U days, the games would release on a Thursday, and Thousand Year Old Door is actually releasing, I think, on the 23rd, which is a Thursday. So it's like the first Switch release to go back to a Thursday, as everything's been
Interesting.
coming out on Fridays. So, and Luigi's Mansion 2 is also going to be on a Thursday as well too. So I don't know if that's just they're returning that trend.
Interesting. Looking at the chat, Jakester says he's hoping to play or finish Golden Sun 1 and start 2, and maybe go closer to the end of Skyward Sword HD and prepare for the Easter event in Pikmin Bloom as well. So, yeah.
Skyward Sword was kind of divisive. What did you guys think of that game at the time?
I liked it.
I liked it as well.
I really liked
it.
Yeah. I had no major issues with it. I liked the increase in combat difficulty because at least like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker just was like, oh, just slap the sword around, you'll eventually kill him. And then this actually, like, you actually had to like do certain strikes, like whether it was sideways or like whatever, like vertical or like the angle one. So I really appreciate the up in combat, but obviously like the Wii remote battery notification from Fi and the other kind of BS like that was kind of annoying, but
sure.
I really enjoyed the actual main gameplay of it and the dungeon styles and structure and story and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time I really enjoyed it, and I didn't understand why it was getting so much hate at the time. Like,
the hate came from two things. One, the E3 2010 presentation where they actually had interference. So people were harping on it. And two, the fact that the overworld was 3 parts and you just kind of kept going to those 3 parts. And I guess the third thing would be the imprisoning battle, or like it was that got it repetitive. Probably the least favorite part of that game.
Gotcha.
But everything else, I loved the dungeons where it was used the time mechanic with the sand and the water, and that was so genius.
Yeah, even like using that beetle item was really cool too. Like you got to control it with the Wii remote and stuff.
Yeah, like glide around. It was pretty cool.
It was cool. Jakester says he's really liking it. Doesn't like the art style of Skyward Sword though.
What? I love that art style.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, it's weird. I know a lot of people didn't like the Wind Waker and all the Toon Link stuff when it first came out, but now it's so beloved. So who knows? I mean, to each of their own, I guess, for the different art styles. But yeah, I was a big fan of it.
Yeah, I wasn't like the huge fan. I did think like Twilight Princess was much cleaner because it was that more realistic look, and then this was kind of like for me, it was more of like an in between Toon Link and like Twilight Princess kind of look, and I didn't have anything like majorly like problems with it or thought it was bad or anything, but I just know it wasn't like my preferred art style, which is like whatever, like more like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and Twilight Princess style. So,
Yep. Well, this brings us to the end of this episode. We're so grateful to have Tristan here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for sharing all you're doing there at Premium Edition and letting us see some behind the scenes kind of thoughts around working with Barry and what that's all like and everything. So yeah, I know you've done all the manuals and all the artwork and stuff like that too. But plug your books again because I want to make sure people get a chance to pick those up.
Sure, it's the Video Game Console Collector's Field Guide, which you can see on screen now, available on PremiumEditionGames.com. I actually kickstarted my other set of books, the Video Game Collector's Field Guide, which if you want to check out any information, you can go to VGCollectorGuide.com, and you can read all about it. I actually forgot to mention also, I'm a writer for Old School Gamer magazine. So if you enjoy print media, like physically in your hands, like, Game Pro and all that stuff, we have awesome articles all the time. And I'm part of a couple podcasts as well. I do video game bullshit with VGBS with Jeff Wittenhagen, and then a buddy of mine and I have another podcast called the Middle Aged Gamers from Dimension X. So
Nice.
we have fun there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Greg, what's going on in your life?
Not really. I guess a pretty big update. My fiance will be moving in with me over the next 2 weeks here. So her house was on the market for less than 24 hours. Got 5 offers, and one that was above the asking price. So
Nice.
that was very nice for all that. So they just had the home inspection last weekend, and look, in the next 2 weekends she'll be getting all of her stuff over to here, and then the living together will be started before we get married later in June. So
That's a big commitment.
Coming up.
Congratulations.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
congratulations.
thank you.
Nice. Barry, now that you've got the direct behind you, are you breathing or are you just working on the next one already?
Yeah, he
Breathing.
started working on it.
I
I
have
can
not-
feel it.
The summer
I have
direct.
not. I have not breathed.
I'm gonna block
since,
Barry.
I have started to do the preliminary stuff for the summer direct. I've been talking all day with developers. I've been pushing, and promoting the direct, even though it's past, promoting the stuff, promoting the Kickstarter because we had Atomic Owl, promoting Godshard Chronicles again, promoting Gordian Quest, which is available, talking with developers still, lots of emails. I was talking with Tristan even just before this. I was eating dinner. Just like a lot of the stuff, like I haven't had time to breathe. And then I've got my big kind of media tour I do after these directs where I go on a bunch of different podcasts. You caught me on Nintendo Dads last week. I'm there again next week, and I did Game Deflators beforehand. I'm on Game Deflators again, in a week, and I got like Go Game Go tomorrow, and I'm doing like All In podcast, and I'm just all. It's great to see all my friends again and just go through and talk with everybody. But no, I don't get to rest at all, and on top of that, I've got a 9-month-old, so I really don't get to rest at all, and 2 puppies, and life is crazy, but it's good. It's good. I'm okay. Don't send help. I'm
and
fine.
yet somehow
Don't worry.
you get to you find time to play like 30 games every week too. So
Well,
Yeah, I know, right?
what it is not all those games I beat. Some games
Yeah.
I only play for 10 minutes, and
you turned on
or 20
Pac-Man and
minutes.
went right for 5 minutes. Yeah.
5 minutes, yeah, but
Yeah.
but you know what it is? It's when my son lets me play, it's great, and when I have moments to myself, my wife is very, very supportive and takes care of my son or our son so that I can play. Because when I'm not, and even today, like I did some Dragon's Dogma 2, and like 9 times out of 10 that my wife walked into the room, I had the game paused and I was on my phone. I was sending an email or messaging and talking to a developer. And I was working on stuff with Godshard Chronicles, talking with Eldar, talking with a potential new Kickstarter. Like it like stops. She's like, are you playing or not? I'm like, I am, but I got an email I need to answer to.
Just soon you're going to be able to pass the controller off and he's going to be able to take care of it while you were doing your work.
He's reaching for the controller already. He's reaching for the PS5 controller.
Before
now.
long, he's like, Dad, hand it over. I can do better.
He started dancing today, which was fantastic. So he's
Nice.
definitely improving. He's getting bigger, and soon I've created a monster, and I'm so sorry to this world that I'm unleashing him on everybody, but we'll see.
Here's what you gotta do. You just gotta load up like Dark Souls or Battletoads, and then let him figure it out, and then he'll be
Oh yeah,
there you go.
He'll be good.
A tier.
Oh man, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks to all the people that joined us in the live chat. You all that are joining us after the fact, either the video version on YouTube or the audio version on your favorite podcast app. Be sure to subscribe while you're over there, and if your podcast app allows you to leave a positive review, please do that and recommend it to other Nintendo gamers that you enjoy or that also enjoy Nintendo stuff, especially Premium Edition. So if you have anybody that likes to collect physical games, make sure you let them know about Premium Edition and point them over this direction for this podcast episode and also the latest Premium Edition Direct. Again, thanks for being here. Our next live recording is going to be happening on April 9th, again at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We'd love to have you join us in the live chat if you've never done that before. But of course, we'll always have the on-demand version on podcast apps and YouTube as well. But thanks again. Special thanks to Tristan for joining us for this episode. And be sure to go check out Premium Edition games. And until next time, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thank
See you next time.